that is Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Now Democrats are saying it, and they're saying it out loud. And let me play you a clip of Joe and get your reaction to it, and then I'm going to butt it together with a different Joe. I called him the night after a State of the Union address, jacked up Joe. Maybe he had a lot of Red Bull or Monster Energy drink.
Or something.
Or something. Here, look.
I've been a senator since I was 29 years old. Never left government. The fall, he decided to, look, I shouldn't get into this probably. Never forget, America is the strongest when we lead not only by our example of our power, but by the power of our example. You can clap for that. As President Lincoln said, we'll never forget lying around. And that's him lying around, actually. They're trying to erase black history. We're going to write black history because it's American history. On Memorial Day, I proudly stood with a black man. Just checking this afternoon. Good afternoon. Will not bring Israel in, will not bring down, will only bog down Israel and Gaza. Is Steny here? Where's Steny Hoyer? Steny Hoyer.
I hear him in the back. He's over by the beer.
Well, Steny Hoyer lives in the western shore of Delaware in Maryland. The thing about, let me put it this way. I remember when I was vice president and things weren't going too well. My inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. Too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why it's cracking down on corporations engaged in price gouging and deceptive pricing. Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class. Wages keep going up. Inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower.
So most days you see Joe struggling. Now Democrats are saying it. But State of the Union, we saw a very different, in my view, Joe. Maybe just Red Bull. I don't know. I'm not going to make any allegations, but it certainly was not the normal Biden. How significant an issue is this?
Look, we are...
Because I don't think you could sit here and have this conversation.
Right. We're at the most dangerous point in the history of our country because of the power of weaponry, nuclear weapons in particular. Weapons that are so powerful and I've seen the effects. And I had an uncle, a great professor at MIT for many years. We used to talk about nuclear a lot. He understood nuclear very well. And even then, that was many years ago, my father's brother, Dr. John Trump, and I think he was the longest serving professor in the history of MIT. I think 41 years, very smart. We used to talk about nuclear, and he used to talk about the power of nuclear, and I'd say, Uncle John, we're a briefcase the size of a regular briefcase would do damage that I don't even want to discuss. And we're a long way from that in terms of the advancement of that technology, and it's very bad, very scary. And I will tell you, we have a chance of going into World War III because of our leader. So I don't want to get into what state he's in. It's in one way, it's not something for me to talk about. I can tell you this, President Xi of China, Putin, Kim Jong-un, all of these leaders are at the top of their game. Mentally, they're at the top of their game. And they're dealing with somebody that's not at the top of his game. And honestly, he never was. He was never the brightest bulb. And everybody understands that. Everybody knows that. You look at his foreign policy over the years, it was always wrong. You look at all of the things, you look at his crime bill in the 1990s, how horrible that was to certain groups of people. He was never great at what he did. He did it because he was hale and hearty and well met. And I have a real problem. I love this country. I don't want to see this country get into a nuclear war and be so badly damaged, what we say won't matter, this won't matter, this place won't matter, nothing will matter, because practically nothing's going to be here anymore. The level of power, of power with the weapons and weaponry, that's real weaponry. That's worse than the weaponry that we were talking about a little while ago. This is the ultimate, this is obliteration, maybe world obliteration. And we have a man that is not capable of even discussing it. He talked the other night about that nuclear doesn't matter so much. What matters is, think of this, global warming. The only global warming that matters to me is nuclear global warming, because that's the real deal. He said it's an existential threat. He loves the words existential threat. That global warming is an existential threat. And he doesn't know why. What is it? It's weather. And I'm all for that. You know what? I'm in a certain way, in a very powerful way, I'm an environmentalist. I want clean air, I want clean water. But this is not the existential threat. Tomorrow, we could have a war that will be so devastating that you could never recover from it. Nobody can. The whole world won't be able to recover from it. And he's talking about something in 400 years from now. The oceans will rise by 1/8 of an inch. Look, we have a man that shouldn't be doing this job. He's not qualified. He's not mentally sharp enough. And I don't believe he was 20 years ago either. You know, they can show me clips. Take a look at the clips of how he did 20 years ago. His level of hatred for me is incredible. But all I'm trying to do is lay out the facts. Lay out the facts. We have to have somebody that's sharp and strong. And Viktor Orban, who's a very strong kind of a guy, I guess. They call him a strong man. Oh, Trump likes, I don't like strong men or hate strong men. He's leading a country. He's a strong leader. He's the Prime Minister of Hungary. He said the only way we're going to solve the problems of the world, you got to bring Trump back. China was afraid of him. Russia was afraid of him. Look, I ended the Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2, before I came in. Even you, nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. I said, they're building Nord Stream 2. Everyone said, what is that? It's the biggest pipeline in the world going to Germany. So we're protecting Germany, and Germany's paying billions of dollars a month to Russia for energy. And I also said it's bad for Germany because if they ever do end up with a war, which they have many times, they'll turn off the juice and Germany doesn't have a chance. That's when I gave Angela Merkel a white flag. Do you remember? I sent over a white flag at a table. She said, what is it? That's the flag of surrender. So we need a president that's sharp and that's respected. And we're closer to World War III. Now, you take a look at what's happened in the last few days. Putin is now talking about nuclear weapons for the first time. I mean, he's talking about them all the time. Because Ukraine is now talking about hitting Russia. And Biden doesn't know what the hell to say. But all of these things, they're going to end up leading to World War III. I'll get the Ukrainian situation settled, and I'll get it settled fast. It would have never happened. The other thing that would have never happened is the October 7th attack of Israel. Would have never happened. And you know what else? I'll add something else that wouldn't have happened. Inflation. We have the worst inflation maybe in the history of our country. Far worse than they report. Because when you add interest rates and when you add energy prices, look at the energy. By the way, gasoline prices are going way up again. When you add all of this in, I think it's the worst inflation we've ever had. And our country has become, Sean, a failing nation.
You say declining nation.
I say declining or failing.
So let me go back to the foreign policy.
I say a lot of things about it, but it's whatever I say about it, it's real bad.
But let me stay focused for just a second, if I may, on the issue of we have war in Europe, we have war in the Middle East. And we have the Iranians, according to reports, even the IAEA, may be very close to nuclear weapons. That should scare everybody because they're crazy enough that I think they would use them. And precarious situation, more dangerous than I think than at any point.
Most dangerous time in the history of our country.
I would agree. And so my question to you is, if you are elected and you are the next president, the 47th president, how do you begin the process of restoring world order? Now, one other thing. I never thought in my lifetime I would listen to a president of our country, the leader of the free world, literally tell a country that was attacked by radical Islamic terrorists that, oh, we'll support your defense, but we won't support you fighting back after the Iranians fired weapons into their country. To me, that was a surrender in the war on terror. We're trying to lecture Israel. Oh, you can't go to Rafah. You can't do this. Okay, excuse me. How would we act if we lost what would be a population extrapolated out, 40,000 Americans in a day?
So, number one, they have to finish the job. Israel has to finish that job. They have to finish it quickly, strongly, and they have to get back to life again because it's taking too long. They have to finish the job.
You're saying go in, win, and finish.
Gotta win. Gotta win. The attack on October 7th, and it's getting more and more demeaned. They're demeaning it. I have people now telling me they don't think the attack ever happened. And take a look. You watch the news reports
I have the
where
50
people that are
minutes of video.
protesting. Sure, I know you do, and so do I. But here's the thing. You watch these people on television, and then just like you have Holocaust deniers also. They say the Holocaust never took. It's the exact same people. They're saying it never happened. AOC +3. You know, Israel was the most powerful lobby in the country 15 years ago. Today, between Tlaib and AOC and all of these people, what they're doing, Israel, they don't have the backing that they once had.
You'll give it to them.
Yeah, I'm good. But they don't have the backing. Even Schumer has become like a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer, Jewish, always strong for Israel. He's become like a Palestinian.
Called for elections in the middle of a war.
Yeah, it's a very bad thing. It's a very sad thing, and it's a very dangerous thing. But if you look, so many people I watch on your show where they're going and interviewing these people that are protesting just recently in Colombia and the different places. They say, we don't believe October 7th ever happened. And they may believe that, you know, they may actually believe that, but they have to get the job done. They have to get in there and they have to get it done.